PRTVC. Plateau Radio Television Corporation, committed to you. PRTVC.
Good afternoon. This is News Track coming to you live from our Rayfield studio. My name is Kermun Gukas. On the news this afternoon, the Nigerian government has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening humanitarian operations across the country as it moves to renew its cooperation agreement with Medicines Sans Frontières Nigeria. The Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Abubakar Bagudu, made this known during a high-level meeting with the leadership of the International Medical Humanitarian Organization in Abuja. The meeting held on Tuesday focused on the renewal of the Federal Cooperation Agreement and ways to deepen collaboration to ensure uninterrupted humanitarian services in Nigeria. Senator Bagudu acknowledged the critical role played by MSF in supporting vulnerable communities across the country, while also highlighting key challenges affecting service delivery in several states. Others are uneven health system performance across wards and regions, persistent disparities in development indicators, especially in northern states, community perceptions affecting acceptance and participation in programs, and the need for better allocation and management of public resources. He emphasized the Nigerian government's commitment to improve coordination, accountability, and long-term development planning. He also highlighted ongoing efforts to strengthen health systems, expand economic opportunities, support agriculture, and promote sustainable local structures that reduce reliance on external aid. Now, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Bernard Doro, has hailed President Bola Tinubu's social stimulus packages aimed at providing relief to poor and vulnerable Nigerians. Dr. Doro echoed the praise at the flag-off of the distribution of relief packages to vulnerable persons in Plateau State as part of the Presidential Initiative on Food and Nutrition Assistance Program. Government House correspondent reports the program, which held at Government House, Little Rayfield, had Governor Caleb Mutfwang and the APC National Chairman, Professor Nentewe Yowada, in attendance.
The Presidential Initiative on Food and Nutrition Assistance is a program which mainly focuses on the vulnerable persons like women, the malnourished, elderly, and people living with disabilities, as well as those whose means of livelihood were affected by consequential climate-related displacements and insecurity. This category of persons were given food and nutrition items like rice, beans, vegetable oils, and seasoning, among others. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Benadoro, said the decisive intervention by government is to cushion household needs as a remedial assistance. He acknowledged that the beneficiaries would be integrated into broader government programs to make them self-reliant.
Our objective is clear: to break the cycle of repeated humanitarian dependency and move vulnerable households towards resilience, stability, and long-term prosperity.
Governor Caleb Mutfwang appreciated President Bola Tinubu for remembering the vulnerable individuals, assuring that the economic reforms initiated by the present administration will yield commensurate results. In a symbolic presentation of food items, Governor Mutfwang stressed the state government is also intervening in procurement of fertilizer to be sold at subsidized rate to bolster farmers' yield in the next farming season.
I want to attest to the fact that many of the economic reforms introduced by Mr. President are well-intentioned, and by the grace of God, they will yield the desired fruit. But in between, Mr. President recognizes the need to ensure that while people are waiting for the bigger results, that they do not go hungry. And that is the essence of this intervention.
APC National Chairman Professor Nentawe Yilwada reiterated his joy for seeing a program which he initiated as Minister of Humanitarian Affairs come to fruition.
We've supported over 7 million households, providing social protection for them across the country. That we've done by providing 75,000 naira per household, supporting Nigerians across the country.
Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Olubumi Olusanya, maintained that food and nutrition support is solely targeted at vulnerable individuals in state facing humanitarian need, which Plateau State falls into that bracket because of insecurity which affected food production. This is Timothy Tiem.
Now, Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang says with strategic investment, public schools would be the school of choice for parents to train their wards. The governor stated this while flagging off the distribution of teaching and learning materials and commissioning of the administrative block of the headquarters of Plateau State Universal Basic Education Board at Dogonduse in Jos. Our Government House correspondent reports Governor Caleb Mutfwang also decorated pupils who won laurels in different sports for the state during the National Basic Education Sports Semester competition.
Government investment in the state basic education thrilled peoples of Equachal to register their appreciation to Governor Caleb Mutfwang through a rendition. Distributing the teaching and learning materials to schools in the state, Governor Caleb Mutfwang said his administration inherited a dysfunctional educational system with worrying indices, hence the decision by his administration to salvage it. Governor Mutfwang applauded the transparency of SUBEB's management, assuring that he would make the state an educational tourism hub and challenge teachers to take advantage of the 65 years retirement policy to add value rather than remaining redundant.
I want to pledge to Plateau people that by the grace of God, by the time we exit, that public schools will be schools of first choice for parents. This is our commitment to the people of Plateau State. And that is going to require a lot of investments in infrastructure, investments in teacher training, investments in curriculum development, investments in instructional materials.
Executive Secretary, Universal Basic Education Board, UBEC, Dr. Aisha Garba, who is represented on the event by the North Central Zonal Director of UBEC, Edward Abalaka, described Mutfwang as education-friendly governor, noting that to achieve meaningful outcomes in education, learning materials procured must be adequately put to use.
As a commission, we have noted the first lift your administration has brought to the people on the plateau in the provision and delivery of basic education, including the timely payment of the state's 2025 counterpart fund from UBEC, which the state has already accessed.
Executive Chairman, State Universal Basic Education, Sunday Amuna, lauded the time is now administration for salvaging basic education through the construction and renovations of schools, procurement of learning materials, books, sandals, and school bags.
On staff welfare, Your Excellency, we are deeply grateful for your education-friendly policies. Today, no teacher is owed salary arrears except those currently undergoing disciplinary processes. The Teachers Union has requested that I convey their sincere appreciation to your approval of the upward salary adjustments for teachers. In addition, the board initiated a backlog promotion exercise for deserving staff. However, at the point of implementation, certain anomalies were discovered, and these are presently being addressed in collaboration with the Nigerian Union of Teachers and the Non-Academic Staff Union.
In separate goodwill messages, the State Commissioner of Education, Kachalom Gang, and the Uja Anaguta Pozo Johnson Joro Magaji praised the turnaround in the state basic education system. This is Timothy Tiem.
Moving forward, Senator representing Plateau Central in the National Assembly, Diket Plank, has presented 2,229 bags of assorted food items to Muslim faithful in his constituency. The lawmaker said the gesture is his support to the Muslim Ummah as they participate in this year's Ramadan. Our correspondent tells us more.
The items made up of rice, millet and guinea corn were presented to Muslim faithful in Bokos, Mangu, Panchin, Kanke, and Kanam local government areas. Senator representing Plateau Central, Diket Plank, said the gesture was to demonstrate togetherness with the Muslim faithful during the Ramadan.
We are providing little food items, not because they cannot feed themselves, not because they don't have meals to take care of the fasting, but to demonstrate togetherness. When it comes to Christmas, 1 or 2 things should be given out, and we all do Christmas together. When it comes to Salah, we're all talking to God Almighty, our Creator. We need to be together.
Plan urged the leaders to monitor the sharing formula to ensure that there is equity in the distribution. He also advised his constituency to love, support and pray for their leaders to enable them succeed. Central Zone Chairman Jamaatul Nasir Islam Ibrahim Manomi thanked the senator for the kind gesture and prayed for God's blessings upon him.
We equally have to commend the government of the Federation under the leadership of Mr. President Senator Ahmed Tinubu and the leadership of the National Assembly, who have carried our distinguished senator wholeheartedly, that he has been working to us in good representation.
Chairman, All Progressives Congress, Kanam local government, Aliu Makama, who spoke on behalf of the chairman of the constituency, appreciated the senator for identifying with the Muslim Ummah during the Ramadan and wished him well. I am Bolchit Pam.
Over 4,200 cases of glaucoma were reported in Plateau State in 2025. State Commissioner of Health Nicholas Bamlong disclosed this at a press briefing to mark this year's World Glaucoma Week in Jos. Our correspondent has details.
World Glaucoma Week is observed every year to educate people about glaucoma, a serious eye condition that leads to permanent blindness if not detected and treated early. With the theme Uniting for a Glaucoma-Free World, this year's celebration emphasizes the power of collective action in tackling one of the leading causes of irreversible blindness. Briefing journalist State Commissioner of Health Nicholas Bamlong said glaucoma is the second leading cause of blindness in Nigeria after cataract.
The 2023 rapid assessment of avoidable blindness that was done here in Plateau reported a prevalence of blindness to be about 2.7% of the population, which is significantly higher than the national average of 0.7%. And glaucoma accounted for 17% of such blindness.
He explained that according to the Nigeria Blindness and Vision Impairment Survey, prevalence of glaucoma affects 5% of the population and accounts for 16.7% of blindness cases.
2025, last year, Plateau State reported over 4,000 cases of glaucoma that were already on treatment, and about 500 cases were being diagnosed as new cases.
Bamlong stressed that there is the urgent need for a united push for regular checks, awareness, early diagnosis, accessible and affordable treatment to guarantee a future where no one loses their sight to glaucoma. He lauded the efforts and commitment of Plateau State government and other partners in advancing healthcare services to people of the state. The celebration of this year's World Glaucoma Week began with a sensitization walk from the gate of the Jos campus of the Plateau State Polytechnic to the Ministry of Health headquarters, Joseph Gomok Secretariat. I am Gokop Timothy.
Now, President Bola Tinubu has promised to continue making the most of the opportunity given to him to lead the country by sustaining the trajectory of economic growth and prosperity. The president made the remarks on Monday while hosting religious and traditional leaders for an interfaith breaking of the fast at the presidential villa, Abuja, according to a statement by his spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga. President Tinubu promised to continue making the most of the opportunity given to him to lead the country by sustaining the trajectory of economic growth and prosperity. He also assured Nigerians that the nation would not allow agents of instability to undermine its peace, unity, and sovereignty, while acknowledging the critical roles religious and traditional leaders play in promoting stability and moral guidance in communities. President Tinubu reaffirmed his commitment to investing in critical sectors such as agriculture and education to leave a lasting legacy for future generations. He urged Nigerians not to lose hope, assuring them that his administration remains focused on building a safer, more secure and prosperous nation for all. In his remarks, the Etsu Nupe Yaya Abubakar expressed gratitude to the president for hosting leaders of the two major regions at the breaking of fast, which he said symbolizes unity. He prayed for God's guidance, protection, and for peaceful coexistence in the country, as well as for the president's success. The Etsunupe represented the president, the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, and the Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar. The Christian Association of Nigeria, represented by Archbishop Daniel Oko and Dr. Stephen Babapanya, president of the Evangelical Church Winning All, ECWA, assured President Tinubu of the church's support for his administration in its determination to transform the economy and strengthen the country's security architecture. Traditional rulers and religious leaders from the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria attended the event. Fuel pump prices have continued to rise across the country, driven by a combination of global domestic economic pressure. Some motorists in Jos, the Plateau State capital, have expressed displeasure over the sharp increase in fuel pump prices in some filling stations across the country. According to them, the current increase to about 1,060 naira per litre in some areas has posed untold hardship on them. Our correspondent completes the report.
A visit to some filling stations in the city, including Mainland Oil and Gas, Bulk Investment Nigeria Limited and AA Rano, all in Jos revealed that only a few motorists were seen purchasing fuel due to the sudden hike in pump price. Commenting on the situation, manager Mainland Oil and Gas at First Gate Dadinkowa Okechukwu Samuel and a fuel attendant Bog Investment Nigeria Limited Yelopin Stephen said the current increase in pump price started 4 days ago.
The cause of sudden increases because of this war going on in Iran. So according to the news we got, Dangote increased their own.
We used to choose to sell it because of due to our company, we used to adjust it because of our customer.
Some motorists expressed displeasure over the sudden increase in fuel prices, describing the situation as a setback for many Nigerians.
As you can see, it's really biting on us, especially on the plateau. It's not really very, very good, especially to commuters and also drivers.
The crude oil is here, and thank God the Dangote has come to our help to help us. Why increasing it? Because of the people are fighting all the way fireplace in Iran.
The funny thing is that we are surviving, we are surviving, and it's so painful.
Commuters also lamented the situation, pointing out that they can hardly afford transportation due to sharp rise in fuel prices. During our visit, some fuel stations were seen without customers as many residents struggle to cope with the high cost of fuel. In Jos, Nerotram.
The Plateau State government has assured of its commitment to tackling challenges facing tertiary institutions in the state. The assurance was made at the opening ceremony of the National Board for Technical Education's accreditation, reaccreditation, and resource inspection of Plateau State Polytechnic, Birkin-Ladi. Correspondent Simon Swatkia has the details as presented in our studio.
45 academic programs across various schools were presented by the management of the Plateau State Polytechnic, Birkin-Ladi, to the National Board for Technical Education, NBTA, for accreditation, reaccreditation, and resource inspection of programs. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Sadia Yaro, said the accreditation exercise is expected to boost the institution's reputation and improve the quality of education.
As a ministry, we are so grateful to His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfan, who has all times provides the necessary enablement aimed at making our institutions in the state reach and to meet the requirements for accreditation.
The rector, Plateau State Polytechnic, Birkin-Ladi, Dr. Clement Chirman, said accreditation and resource inspection are crucial for maintaining high standards in education delivery. Chirman acknowledged government effort in supporting the institution to meet required standards.
In the pursuit of this mandate, we have continued to prioritize the improvement of teaching and learning facilities, enhancement of staff capacity, and the upgrading of laboratories and workshops to strengthen academic activities on the benchmark set by the regulatory bodies.
The chairman of the Governing Council of Plateau State Polytechnic, Birkin-Ladi, Professor Hayward Mafway, urged the National Board for Technical Education team to approach the accreditation exercise with utmost seriousness. Team leader of the accreditation, Dr. Fatima Umar, said the assignment is to assess programs based on NBTE curriculum and standards with the aim of approving the courses.
We are NBTE, who is like a mirror. And I believe you'll be proud to have us because we set a standard, we maintain it, and we know the institutions under us will be proud that we associate with us.
The NBTE accreditation team is expected to conclude their assignment at Plateau State Polytechnic, Birkin-Ladi within the next 2 days.
Iran vowed on Tuesday that not 1 liter of oil would be exported from the Gulf while its war with the United States and Israel continues, in a stark rebuke to President Donald Trump's boast that the conflict was all but over. Iran's foreign minister says there will be no more negotiations with the United States. Trump's argument that the war would be ended soon helped reverse the Monday spike in oil prices, which have surged since Iranian attacks on shipping closed the Strait of Hormuz in response to the U.S.-Israeli strikes that killed its supreme leader. The price increase also followed strikes on oil depots in Iran and after attacks on oil infrastructure in Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. After Trump's comments, European gas prices opened 15% lower, and Asian stock markets recovered from Monday's slump, and their European counterparts opened higher. But concerns remain high. Qatar, which has suspended LNG exports and sent European energy prices sky high, said Iranian attacks on its civilian infrastructure were continuing, and the Israeli military announced a new wave of attacks on Tehran. Egypt increased the cost of fuels by up to 30%, and Pakistan said it would provide naval escorts to commercial shipping. France has dispatched warships to the region. And that's a wrap on News Track. Don't forget to stay tuned for global news at 6:30 p.m. as well as news update at 10 p.m. Enjoy the rest of our programs.